welcome back to another Hood Nigga production. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host Lebogang, and welcome back to another season of HN Production. To say Artec, there's an event happening. Broken to be served is right here. We just got here, and I am excited because I am one of the dancers. Anyway, my son be swinging a party and see what they've got for us. So today we're in Central at the Artec, where our local favorite artist hosted Broken to be Served. According to Sihle Sofute, Broken to be Served is a theatrical poetry and musical production. Ooh, that is a whole lot of English words, but I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but this was our first time exploring such a production. It is where artists got to share what they go through in their everyday lives, and some of the artists were Eve's Apple and the lovely Ayanda and Jay. Not only were we served with poetry, but also had healthy shakes and wine for the mind. I also think that these events should also take place every month, or at least annually, because we all know that entertainment is the best way to educate. So sit back and relax while we go through this event that we have. Hello ladies and gentlemen, once again we are here at the Artec Institute, and with me I have a few people right here, and I believe that is one of the patients. Let's see what he has to say. Hello sir, can you please tell us about yourself, who you are and where you come from, and why you think you're here? You can say something. You can speak here, sir.
I'm Jesus. How could you not believe this? You've seen the scars in my palms, the deep cuts of glass from mending broken hearts, so I ask, where do broken artists go? To find peace, a peace of mind. See, my mind is overwhelmed with barbaric thoughts, suicidal attempts, for I've tried, literally ripping out my heart, just to unplug for a while. Look, I've seen it all, that I plead to be blind. I wish I could borrow you my eyes, to see through my window pane the pain that drives this pen. See, with each and every line, I'm tearing off pieces of my soul just to rearrange them in the soul. So I have to know, where do broken artists go after the curtains have closed? Because these wounds don't. So note that these are not just poems, but suicide notes. Might as well call these suicide shows, because I'm performing my heart out and it shows. So please, you see, I have to know, where do broken artists leap to with what's left after everyone is left? I step into the dark alone like the moon. Hence I write these poems to keep sanity on hold. So you see, I just have to know, where do broken artists go after they've exposed their naked soul like a painting on the wall for all to see, their point of view. Look, for art's sake, I'd break, then rebuild with word, a clinic where fallen angels can become patient, for it takes time to heal, but still, I have to know, where do broken artists go after they've disfigured themselves like a puzzle, but not to puzzle the audience, for these pieces are remedies. So I just have to know, where do broken artists go? Where do broken artists go?
I'm not mad. I'm just conflicted. Art depicted my life in stages. I stage my life as a tragedy for your entertainment. Standing ovation as payment, hands clapping, fingers snapping as I snap back to reality, morphing into a mirror reflecting society. Can you not see what this is doing to me? I'm not mad, but I'm becoming more bone than skin, more pain than passion. I'm passionate about my pain so much that it feels like mine. I carry their stories on my back. There's not even room for my own backstory. I'm sorry that happened to you. Empathy is an outfit that happened to be in my size, and I'm surprised. I can still feel my own feelings. I'm feeling and I'm feeling and I'm feeling, ripping open wounds that were still busy healing. These scars are starting to look like scales while I keep my head above water. I'm drowning, but I cannot drown before the grand finale. I'm mad, but forwards I'm MAD, backwards I'm DAM, I'm damned. Trying to go with the flow while keeping up with what's current, using the past to keep afloat. There are no lifesavers here. Only I can save me, but that won't be entertaining, wouldn't? watching me gasp for air, truth or dare, I dare you to be me, an artist. With pens as fingers, ink stains as bruises, heartache for art's sake, be their pain. Crazy, right? I'm not mad, I'm insane.
Breaking news! In breaking news! An escaped mental asylum patient who is well known for running away from reality to distant worlds crafted on blank pages was found standing on the tip of the margin on account of being driven to the edge of the page by a life which is the hardest. It is reported that he was found playing with fire, having desires of burning down to ashes his narrative of starving artist. But his gushing pen reminds him instead that if blood cells contain and carry oxygen throughout the body, then his bleeding must be synonymous with breathing. And now, on to other news. An interesting thing about fire is that not only is it a scorching element of heat that burns and destroys, but it is also a cleansing force used for the purification of gold. In other words, these writings are not just poems, but they are fires that churn deeply within our bones in order to provide warmth for the audience, who always seem to mistake a painful burning for creativity and performance. Behold, the magical melodies that are sung through our poems are mostly composed of melancholic stories that we would rather remain untold. But for the sake of the other, our mouths became a volcanic eruption spewing out molten lava in order to provide heat and warmth for our mothers, brothers, sisters, and lovers. But in a dark world where the love of many changes and becomes evil, just like fallen angels transformed into demons, may this work of art become a fortress to rest, where it reminds on blank spaces. For these writings are not poems, but they are my mental asylum. Some of the loudest cries have been uttered through the softest of whispers. So I apologize to all my viewers and listeners for these words that have painted this imperfect picture. But I've come to see that some jokers who are bound to leave you with the shattered pieces of a broken and heavy heart that bleeds were once upon a time queens who got broken and bruised by meaningless words spoken that lacked truth. Words such as I love you's left their tongues tied, whilst washing away their values like a tide. For they became the treasure maps to find the treasures resident in between their thighs. Now their pitch black hearts are cold and dark as the night, for they were trampled by knights who possessed no shining armor, for all they ever really harbored was sweet nothings. And so the only means of survival for a queen who lost her crown in a world crafted of deceit is by carrying the tricks of a joker up her sleeve. The heart was never meant to be worn on the sleeves, for I have come to see that most things that are worn are bound to become torn as they wither because of the changing weather and its seasons. The heart organ is composed of strings that are strung by people who misspelled their love backwards, turning it into evil, causing abusive marriages nowadays to become prisons where the taste of death is the only means to attain freedom. Watching my mother's and father's broken marriage, I have attained the fear of love, with the phobia that their tragic love story would become my sequel that speaks of how demons were once angels who transformed like Satan. These hands are a reminder of how humans are capable of changing. See, father's hands became a weapon, causing mother's health to be critical but stable, even though all she ever did for him was sacrifice all of her dreams. Perhaps their wedding ring served as a reminder of how father used to be a soldier and a fighter, for he would often perfect his boxing swing against the temple and the cheeks. The lines that are carved on the surface of my palms are a vivid reminder of the maid out covering her blue eye and scars. So to my future ex-lover, allow me to apologize in advance for our sad wedding day and how I left you as a sacrifice on the altar. It's not that I didn't love you, but I was too scared that life would alter me into becoming the exact image of my father. So instead of seeking for happily ever after, I chose to walk away rather. These feet always speak of my ability and skill to walk away from a good thing. I've become fluent at the beat, composed by walking feet that could never stay, but always had to leave. So to anyone who's ever left me damaged by teaching me how to abandon the people I was meant to walk hand in hand with, please pack up your baggage from my heart and leave, for I now rely on this poetry as my bandage to heal. So quickly notice that if my insecurities are a residence, that I'm now serving the notice, for these inherited dysfunctions can no longer continue growing unnoticed. Ngoko, ndiphethe umboko, ndisobha ngale mibongo, ze ndixeleleni ngodikwa xa abantu besithi ndinga mntakandini, ngoba ndisapoza ubha ndibhele kwisibhakabhaka kangenxa yochithwa zonke iintsipha. Yiloo nto ndisisgulwane sosiba. No, these writings are not poems, but they are divination bones that I've thrown and scattered on these stages, trying to find the lost and shattered pieces of my broken character on these pages and open paragraphs. So when gazing at my body of work that is embodied with words, only pass out judgment after realizing that we all suffer from inherited dysfunctions.
The hardest words we can ever say are "I'm sorry," but we say it as many times as walking into a lobby, and I think I finally get the saying, age is just a number. See, it all depends on you and not your body. That's your cover. This time around, take a look at my life, but this is my story. The 25th of October, it was a time of loneliness, and I guess I kind of felt like I was all alone in this, and then the 18th of December, I said, this is the end of me. I couldn't take it anymore. Go ahead, rejoice my enemies. I said what I wanted. I acted like I owned you. I should have given you the world and thrown you. I lock my feelings in a can now because now I've lost you. And to be quite honest, I don't know what I'm going to do. I carry you in my heart, mind, and soul. But I walked away before it all got out of control. And when I think about what used to be, umphefumulo wami uyaqhamuleka. Manivalo umlomo ndiyamosha ezinye izinto azithethwa.
See, ever since I've met you, I started believing in unicorns. They do exist. It's just that their horns are broken. And those colors like the insides of heaven are all dirty and muddy, dusty and smelly. Clearly, not hard to tell. She's met a lot of pigs, heard a lot of things, found herself astray, lost on the highway. The fast life was too fast. She was left catching up. She didn't know her worth. Could I be worthless? Are the words that rang in her head. Don't answer their call. See, you are just a diamond that forgot it was a diamond. Your insecurities, are playing finders keepers with your mind. So you lost self on the process of being thrown around.
She lost count of all the Mr. Rights that broke her heart, or the men that thought they were smart but really lost, had corrupted their minds.
See, with every crush, trust got cracked. She needed love, like stars need darkness.
Let these scars cut deep.
Ouch!
Yes, you will bleed,
But learn as you bleed.
learn from your mistakes and you will heal. Who says what has a bad past can't have a present?
Because presently, angels do exist. It's just that their backs got weary from carrying their own weight.
Like when Jesus carried the cross, I cannot let you carry this cross alone, alone, alone,
See, I know you've done wrong, but let he who's never sinned throw the first stone.
alone. How could you carry all of this alone? Baggage is so heavy that they broke the backbone of everything love ever stood for. For how long will you stay alone in the cold corners of an empty soul?
I'll be your wings, your feathers when it's cold. No need to run no more. My heart is big enough for the both of us.
I am torn between running and hiding, or should I be fighting for these abandoned homes to find life, to live again, forget them, find a way? Yes, she said.
Yes, she said, it's a way back home, back to that broken home. Look, I'm told. You can tell that I've been wrestling with the wolves on my quest to find love.
Yes, your battles have been tough, but each scar is just a scar to heal over time. These scars do not define, instead they haunt you inside, always trying to climb out so they can undermine the fact that you're a human and it's fine to be wrong sometime.
Yes, I've fallen for you. And when I fall,
I don't just fall, I fall deep, I fall like Victoria Falls.
I've got exuberant love. I'm a precious glass. But I've broken so many times, I developed a fear for heights.
So forgive me, I won't jump.
No.
Not this time. I'm not prepared to walk that path again. Push the past out of the way, go through that pain again. My bad past has made me lose my way. But who says what has a bad past
Can't have a present.
tense?
See, we all deserve gifts. Happiness, even if it's not wrapped in a box, paid back with sex. See, I've acknowledged your cracks. But yet when I live under this roof with cracked walls,
Holding it together as it falls. And when it falls, I don't want to die alone.
See, I've heard this song before, just in a different tone. See, finding love is like seeing unicorns in the 21st century.
Love is just a fairy tale, a fantasy, something imaginary. Too many times as the imagination fooled me, deeply broken into a million pieces, poetic pieces with a million descriptions of the heartbreak.
every changing season, I'm left picking up the remains. They abandoned me once they've eaten this fruit. See, I was a butterfly born in hell. Illusions got me believing flowers bloom down
But
here.
down here, we are left unprepared. Your words and eyes are innocent, yet that's how it all begins. Sad how it ends. Isn't it just another cliche? That what men say is not what men do. I'm lost
Lost in the thick mist of love.
because I'm scared to open my heart. My heart has had more than enough. These ears have heard too many
I
lies.
paid the price, a broken heart. I fell in love, no strings attached. I fell deep.
My soul drowned in the deep blue sea, trying to find love. See, every fish she would meet turned out to be a shark.
On the hunt, just for a meal. See, she lost count of all the Mr. Right that it came just for a quick bite. See, she has heard it all.
And even if you trip her, she won't fall.
So you see,
You can't save her.
Tragedy! Tragic comedy! Humans build their homes in huts when they are not a residence, but only blood pumps.
Let me explain something to you. Old Helen is gone, and you will not talk to me like that. I came here to help you, but now I'm gonna get even.
Well, why don't you
Shut up! You want Brenda and your kids. Do you see what you left me for? This is what you left me for. She didn't give a damn about you, Charles. She told them to let you die. I was your wife. I loved you. I would never hurt you. Why would you do this to me? To us? Answer me! You know what's funny? I gave you life even though you took life from me. You want your kids, your boys. I wanted children, Charles, and if you went around with those hoes, we could have had them. Got me all stressed out, my weight up and down, couldn't keep anything down. 2 miscarriages. You took life from me, you never even said I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you sit here for a few days and think about what I said.
I'm in a cold room in my mind, opening books in my memories to find why when I speak about you and I still say us. Yet I feel we are planets apart. How on earth did we end up here where relationships relate to ships with no compasses when we both not in this for the same reasons, changing on each other like seasons in this cold room. Our relationship lies on the floor. I'm not sure if it breathes anymore. This cold room is a cemetery where unfortunately fortune and misfortune are simply forces unexplained, yet it still hurts all the same, standing over this dead body. Now tell me, should this body rot so you can see that it's deceased, constantly resurrecting this dead body, turning our love into a zombie, a moving body, but inside it's dead? In this game of give and take second place when you've done all it takes not to give up, giving us chance after chance to break one another's hearts like a collage. We force these broken pieces together, but once we've had to fix it, it becomes worse before it gets any better, and sooner or later, before later becomes better than never, procrastinating on the truth that forever was never realistic. Real is how we should have kept it. Would moving on be as bad as we once said? That living without the other would result in death after all was said and done. I really thought that you were the one, I never lied. For too long has my pride not allowed me to give up on our love. For it was love at first sight, because the sight was quite right. Not Mrs. Right, but just my type. But she was also the type to type paragraphs of lies to hide. Stay hidden in disguise behind the clouds in disguise. Now I'm falling fast from cloud 9. I'm filled with hate at cloud 8, at cloud 7. I'm left seeking explanations of how could heaven hide this demon. Craving for a fix at cloud 6. Let's fix things. 5 missed calls, I know you saw them for sure. At cloud 3, I'm finally finding my peace. A piece of I find as your face in my mind fades with time. I'm closing these books of memories 1 page at a time. At cloud 2, I write this poem for you, hoping these words make it through flesh and rib. Deep they should sink in order to untie our heartstrings, as to set me free from being the one held prisoner because of love. See, if this is love, then I should avoid this heart, and never mind, it's already too late. See, loving you was like collecting water with a crate. Standwa!
She said she'd never leave, but that would always be together, always and forever. But I guess how can always and forever be when humans are temporal beings? Please, pardon the regret that is locked up within this poem. But when the salty rivers that once gushed and flowed from the windows of her soul became a dry desert of abandoned tears that could no longer cry for me, I finally took note of an irony that is composed of regretful melodies and blues that bring up regretful memories and tunes of how the only way we know what we've got is when we lose it. And so it sinks. Our relationship sinks deep within the silence that sings of how love packed up our heartstrings to leave. To the one who taught me that sometimes the best way to love is to leave, just like fallen leaves abandon their homes in order to learn how to ride the autumn wind. Hi. I've met you on so many different paragraphs and accounts where I've tried to account for the reason why we ended up cutting our ties. This is a movie. Then every poem about us that I ever wrote was simply a remote that I've pressed so many times in trying to rewind back to the time before our highs ever turned to goodbye. Bye. Bye.
So you really loved her?
Where did you meet her? We met on the edges of a frown where I labored as a gardener in order to cultivate her a smile that could be seen on the darkest corner of her eyes. On days where she kept her gaze fixed to the ground because of the heaviness of having to keep her head held high, I noted that this dance was only her taking a bow in order for her to receive her crown as my queen, I as her king. But he who bears the crown must also bear its weight. So love got tired of having to wait and compete with the love affair between my gushing pen that bleeds, and so love decided to storm out of my life and leave. To my lost lover, even though we no longer experience the days where we would rise together like the sun in order to roam amongst the stars and sail the skies, I hope that you'll continue to soar and fly with whoever is by your side, and that you'll finally get to reach the always and forever that we could never really find. So as my lost lover now storms and rages out of my life like the wind, I know that beyond her fury is still a touch that can mend, and that if you were to push past the walls to enter the eye of the storm at the very center, you'd find peace. And so may you continue to soar and fly like a bird and live from the residence of my heart. Please depart and leave. Even though she left, I think I still love her, and I
want to fall asleep in your dreams, only to be caught in your nightmares. I want to take a chance with your storm, mimic its movement until I take its
fall.
I want to carry those baggages that weigh heavy on your smile, forcing it into a frown. I want to chase away those dark clouds on your eyes, like the sun, be the one to brighten up your day.
I want to lay on your floors. I know what you said, you prefer it on the bed, you want it to be perfect.
I want to lay on your floors, be awakened by the truth, be caught in between the cracks of your soul. Should I stay or go? I want to rescue you from your nightmares like insomnia. Be strapped in this ticking bomb that you are. Boom, explode a million times. then resurrect from ashes like phoenix, you my perfect mess.
My perfect mess.
A perfect mess.
That spoken mess. Sage of how perfection could still be found in her imperfectness. She was a ground-shaking, heart-breaking, breath-taking earthquake that rang sirens in my mind of how loving her could only lead to sorrow, full of silence, since the only way she learned how to love was through violence.
Yet her words spoke stability and calmness. In my brokenness, I thought that she was my
happy ending in a life filled with hopelessness, but she was only a severed work of art, the result of crafts, men who could only move her body but never touch her heart. So I understand why she would make me believe that me was her king and that she was my queen. It's not that she's a liar, for all she's ever known was deceit, which is why she carries the tricks of a joker up her sleeve.
So, even though
I am no longer responsible for her smile, even though she is now a treasure hunter who is digging gold in other minds, a philosopher and seeker of knowledge from other minds, she will forever remain my perfect mess.
Perfect mess.
Yes.
mess.
What are you doing, Min? Don't cry! These poems are going to bring her back! Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hi! I have a message for you that may contain some unspoken truths composed by the brain organ. So I hope you don't mind. But our patriarchal society has turned men like pages into a book that is held together with a spine, erected with the teaching of how it is such a weakness for a man to cry. And so we rather master the art created from corpses by becoming mummified beings that have the ability to hide pain and anguish by being fluent in the language of saying, I am fine, with a smile, even though we may be slowly dying inside. I am not the concluding words of a prayer. Amen! But I am a man still, and not a man of steel, for the skin also bruises and bleeds, yet pride has never allowed me to show you that I too can weep, even though tears are probably a release of baggages through the windows of the soul. And yes, the naked truth is often difficult to speak, especially in the world where all you're ever taught to survive is the language of deceit, which is why I could never quite learn the fashion of wearing a heart on my sleeve. And even though masculinity often makes it difficult for the lips to admit defeat, but like shattered glass, we've been broken and also need to be healed from a life which is the hardest because of our absent fathers who are only ever present when the seeds were planted but were nowhere to be found when it was time for the harvest, which is probably the reason why society seems to view the definition of a man with the same eyes of that is a blesser. For it seems like the value of a man is only validated by how much they can provide for the opposite gender. But I hope you don't forget but remember that I am more than just a mere provider or protector. I am a human being, not a human doing. See, buildings can only take form once there has first been ruin. So, in these dark times, let us learn a lesson from the sky, that even the broken star in the anguish of night knows the language of light. So it is time that we no longer fight against the other, but realize that the change I want to see must first begin with me.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't pour out your heart. You're going to die.
Well, I am dying on stage to give life, just as the fire burns itself out to give light. For the path of the hero is the weight of self-sacrifice. Therefore, every time I ascend the stage to recite it, is not just a performance, but me offering myself up as a living sacrifice to be slaughtered by my audience. So here I stand before your soul, piercing eyes, ready to be judged and crucified.
Enough!
Silence!
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to HN Production. I am Lebogang and I'm your host. Today is the Central Artec, broken to be served. And I have Sihle with me. Sihle, can you please tell us about your event and please introduce yourself?
Hi there, so igama ngusihle wabasofuthe, and so we just hosted this event, Broken to be Served, which was a theatrical, poetic and musical production mixed with all these art forms, just to tell a story of the life of artists and how their pain often becomes a pleasure and performance for the audience. So that was the story. You can see I'm all made up. So the story was set in a mental asylum, and yeah man, you'd have to come for yourself the next time if there will be. It's up to you for you to see what was going on.
Well, there definitely has to be a next time. Sihle, thank you so much, and thank you to the artists that performed. It was amazing, guys. I was one of the dancers, and I can tell you now, it was making flames. Still gonna make flames. Catch us next time right here. We're at the Artec. I'm Lebogang and this is HN Production. Catch you next time. What's up, HN Production listeners? I am still your host Lebogang right here. This is the Artec, broken to be served, and we're about to find out from Budom right here how the event was. Budom, can you please introduce yourself and tell us about today's event?
Yeah, no, my name is Uvuya Tudu. I came to attend the event. My friend Rasihle told me, telling me about it since the beginning. You know, he wanted to do something that's around, production. So I thought, why don't I come through and come support? I think it's something that's really positive for Port Elizabeth. So that's why I'm here.
So would you tell me, can you please tell me, would you like another event like this? Was it education enough for you?
No, definitely. We need things like this in PE. I myself, and my partners, we do something that's around, entrepreneurship as well as art. We have artists perform at our event. So I love the fact that people are starting different platforms in PE, FIPI. It'd be nice then to have these platforms, different people doing different things, especially within the poetry scene, which is not being done enough. So yeah, definitely, it has to happen in my opinion.
Well, Nizvele ngokwenu, Artec, broken to be served, did wonders. Next time, an HN production that was not supposed to happen, but it's going to carry on like everything's fine. Hey!
It's another hood nigga production, yo.